This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCG code cards. They are compatible with TCG Live, and you can of course get everything on the website for 5% off using the coupon code ZapDosTCG. This video is also sponsored by CARDMARKET.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every single day, and you can do it as well. And you can use the referral name ZapDosTCG to help support the channel. This video is also sponsored by PLAYMAT.com. This is a platform where you're able to, of course, create your own custom playmat. They have, of course, capabilities to ship worldwide, and you can get 10% off by clicking the link down below. So definitely check it out. Last but not least is Dragon Shield, the best brand to protect your beautiful cards. You can of course there's links down below for US and European people, and you can of course get your best quality sleeves available, as well as deck boxes and binders. Thanks so much for sticking around with the commercials. I hope you enjoyed today's upload. If you do, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button, and let's get this video going. Sup YouTube, it's ZapDosTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG uploads, so be sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the results of the Portland Regionals with 1,500 master players. There was a lot to be taken a look at, and Lost Zone did incredibly well winning the tournament. Big congratulations to Jon Eng. We already did a video about his 60 yesterday, but today we're going to be checking out the meta analysis. We're going to be checking out which decks were popular, which decks converted well, and we're going to be checking out the top 16 deck list. So yeah, just sit around, grab yourself a snack and a soda, and let's just get this video started. If you're enjoying the content, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. And without further ado, this is the day one meta share. As we see, Charizard, the most popular deck as expected, because it did really well during the last regionals. And then to counter that, there's Lost Zone. Lost Zone has inherently a very strong Charizard EX matchup, so that was actually very popular during the day one field of Portland. And there's also Miraidon being the third most popular deck, Miraidon EX as well, actually Gardevoir EX as well. And in this chart we don't actually see a lot of Mew VMAX. That's actually pretty interesting. I think a lot of people were afraid that with the popularity of Charizard, Mew VMAX was not the biggest pick or the smartest decision going into the Portland Regionals. We also see some Inteleon VMAX Rapstrike box there, and then Lost box. Most in particular, I don't know if there's going to be a split line between Sablezard and the Lost piles, but I think they all group together here. Lost box still around, so let's see what happened during day two of the tournament. During day two, we do see that Lost Zone had an incredible conversion rate. A lot of skillful players on Lost Zone as well, and eventually Lost Zone was able to win the tournament. It also makes sense because Lost Zone actually has a great time into Charizard, also a good time into Gardevoir Whip, because of course that Path to the Peak, very strong card in combination with Roxanne, that is having of course the backbone of a Giratina deck. So Charizard did really well as well. Most of the decks actually converted into day two, with Charizard still being 16%. Then Gardevoir also did well, and then Mew VMAX out of nowhere, wasn't even on the charge during day one, get on the charge here, 9.27%. 14 players in the day two field with Mew VMAX. They are grouped together, DTEs and Fusion all alike. And then there's a Lost box as well as Roaring Moon. What do we see? Miraidon completely flopped. Where's Miraidon in the day two meta? Like, what happened there? Like, Miraidon not on the chart here, and we also see that Roaring Moon enters the day two field with 6.6%, which is actually pretty nice, because one of my favorite decks currently in this format. So let's take a look at the top 16 deck list, shall we, with Jon Eng's first place winning list, Lost Zone Giratina. Here we have it. This is the exact 60 that they used to win the tournament. We already played with it a little bit. The thing that I see is that there's only one escape rope in here, and they opted to go for 2 boss over like 1 boss and 2 counter catcher. Also no 4 Path to the Peak, just 3 is sufficient, and the most noteworthy card is 2 copies of Pokegear. You might think with all these one-offs like Sableye, Cranran, Ninja and stuff, you might want to opt to go for maybe a Hisuian Heavy Ball, but it wasn't necessary. The deck is inherently very strong and has even matchups throughout throughout the meta, to be honest. Samuel Hogue with Another lost Tina. Let's see what version of the Tina this is. Again, with 2 copies of the Pokegear, which indicates that Pokegear is a mainstay in Tina, making it more consistent because people always claim that Tina is a brick deck. Well, if you have access to Pokegear, you technically will find that colorless time and time again. What else do we see in this kind of version of the deck? They still opted to go for 2 escape ropes, so they switched around 1 switch for an escape rope there, and there's a TM Devolution in this list as well. And most of these Tina lists are having the exact same lineup, and this Tina list is actually not running Manaphy. So there's also something to note word here that's also playing 4 copies of Path to the Peak. Then Maddox, Koran, if I pronounce it correctly, with Fusion Mew. Let's see what kind of version of the Fusion Mew we are dealing with here. I see currently is the classic list that did well at Worlds. We do see SQ, we have the Box of Disaster, 2 copies of Pat, so it's like a hybrid list, so not going in on the disruption with 1 Judge, 1 Iono and Palpat and 2 Paths. And also having access to the aggression with the Malouetta and the Alessa Sparkle or the Ice Cube. Only 1 copy of Lost City in here. So, but there are 3 copies of Vacuum to get rid of your own path or opponent's path. So, Fusion Mew still doing well in the scene. What else do we see is Bodhi Robinson with Gardevoir. So, still Gardevoir is a respected archetype in the meta, and this list is not running that Luxurious Escape. It is running the Zacian V instead, which can deal with bigger threats more easily, I would say. There are still 2 reversals for the Shining Arcana. They rely on Mirage Tap, and they actually have access to the 4 Stadium Bumps: Worker, Lost Vacuum, Collapse Stadium, and Artisan. So with the 4 bumps to path, you're going to be able to use Psychic Embrace, power up either your Screamtail, Zacian, your Shining Arcana, Gardevoir, either Cresselia. So there is Cresselia in here and Jirachi as well. So you are definitely having a good time against any Lost Box variant. Okay, then 5th place, Nicholas Moffitt with Miraidon Flaffy. Okay, this list is actually kind of wild. You might think on first glance there's nothing like too crazy about it, but this list is actually running 2 copies of Raichu. Also, only 1 copy of Raikou V, and it actually is playing Tapu Koko EX, which is actually able to paralyze if an opponent's knocked out a Pokemon during their last turn. You can auto paralysis with its attack, and that's helping out a ton, definitely against Charizard decks that usually don't run that high of a switch out. Sometimes they play the 1 escape rope, sometimes they play the 1 off Turo, but they need it at the correct time, definitely in combination with an Iono and the Path. You're going to be trapping them with Paralyzation and then finishing them off later. Also, something noteworthy in this list, there isn't a single Arven, so it is highly on Research, Judges, and Iono. No Arven in here, and there's also 2 copies of EXP Share. That's actually pretty noteworthy because if you put an EXP share onto something like, let's say, Mew EX, for example, you can easily absorb energy if a Pokemon gets knocked out and use that copy-paste attack, which is actually pretty nice. It also helps out to power up additional attackers and save the energies in place, so Raichu can get big one-hit KOs. Spiritomb also respecting that Mew VMAX still around in the format. So, interesting list for sure. I'm also a big fan of like playing 2 Raikou, but yeah, they got away with only playing 1. Then Makani Tran with Arceus Regigigas V-Star. Yeah, we did see something like this during the last regionals. There was like 2 brothers playing this kind of 60. It actually is performing quite well, if I'm being honest here. Getting into that top 8 with an Arceus. It's been a while since we've seen Arceus in any sort of top 8, so it's nice to see that it's still holding on there, because as we all know, Starbirth is one of the most powerful abilities in the game, searching out any 2 cards from the deck. There's a Regigigas V-Star, high amount of hit points. You have Mew EX as well as Zacian V. You might think, why are these in here? Well, sometimes they could become attackers. Most importantly, Zacian V is there to, of course, get energies onto an Arceus if you whiff your turn 1 energy. And the Mew EX can actually attack with the help of something like the Raihan DTE, and you can attack with the Mew EX. There's Alakazam in there, which can move around some damage counters here and there to make things perfect, so you don't lose your damage output when you're using Trinity Nova. The good thing about this list is that you do have access to 2 copies of Chair and Scare, and if you're up against something like, let's say, Lost Box, you're going to be able to have a good time because they spit onto you, or they Sable Sprinkle, then you can put it back in your hand, which is hilarious. And you also have Jirachi to protect your Big Barrel and Scope it. So, cool list for sure. We did see it before. I actually tested it out in action as well. Okay, then Azul GG is doing incredible things this season. Top 8 after top 8 after top 8, even winning some. So it's incredible consistency right here. This is the Charizard list they were rocking with. So as I mentioned, the Rotom still part of the squad, Luminion as well. You have 4 Sealstone. They did cut Justified Gloves for the TM Devolution, which seems to be very popular. They were very popular in Japanese list of Charizard, but now the Western world has adapted accordingly. Still the 3 split of the stadiums, Lost City, Artisan, and Collapse Stadium. And they're still playing level ball because there's a 90 HP Charmeleon still in the list. Yeah, Arvanzard still good, and I think with this list, you most of the time want to be going second, if I'm being honest. So Ian Robb, also top 8 with Mew DTE. Let's see what they were rocking with. So no Luxray right from the get-go. That's something I do see. But there are 2 Fusion Energies in here. You might think, why are there Fusion Energies in here when it's a DTE version of Mew and there's no Alessa? Yeah, there's one Alessa Sparkle. The thing is, like, with the Fusion Energies, you can shut down Spiritomb. So if you have a Fusion Energy onto a Genesect, you can still draw cards. That's the main understanding here. So if you have Cramomatic, you can go Cramomatic, Alessa Sparkle, get 2 Fusion Energies onto Genesects, so they can actually draw you cards again. So you have a little bit of an answer against Spiritomb, which is very good for the DTE version of Mew. Otherwise, you just auto-fall against the Spiritomb, which is something you don't want to be seeing. High amount of disruption with 3 copies of Judge, 1 Iono, and 3 Path. And the cool thing is you have Palpat, so you can recover some of your supporters. Yeah, Mew VMAX still around. As you can see, 2 versions. Whether you're playing DTE, whether you're playing Fusion, they both got into top 8. Mew is always around. Keaton Gale with Charizard. Let's see which version of the Zard this is. This is looking like another Arven Zard, but this Arven Zard actually only has 3 copies of Arven. Has some additional supports like a Colress's Experiment in there. They are playing a lot of tools. They have Vitality Band, Tool Jammer, and Justified Gloves. Lots of tools right here. The split line between the stadiums is still clear. Artisan, Collapse, and Lost City. And this version also still playing the 1 copy of the level for the Charmeleon. And let's see, yeah, Rotom still part of the squad as well, super raw. So most of these Charizard EX lists are not playing Radiant Charizard. That's something I immediately notice. Is it worth it to include it? Yes or no? Yeah, you guys be... yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you prefer here. So another Arvanzard doing well. Then we have Danielle Hooger with another Lost Tina. Lost Tina did so well. Okay, not a lot to think about here. Like, it's almost the exact 60 that won. This actually is playing 2 copies of Sableye, is playing an additional copy of Iono, and an additional copy of Nestball as well. They did cut down on the Pokegear right there. And they also cut down on a water type energy. So there's like flip-flops here and there. And also 2 counter catcher on top of 2 balls. That's kind of whack. That's crazy. So much gust. Then there's Justin Tang with Lost Box Charizard. This looks like a Radiant Zard, Sable Zard, whatever you want to be calling this. One of the more consistent ways to be playing Lost Box, in my opinion. You have access to lots of switch outs, 4 switch cards, 4 escape rope. And you also have some beach cards to help out with the retreat option. So many things you can run around with your flower selectings. Again, of course, if you go to like 10, you can Lost Mine. And if you go to 7, you can Mirage Gate. So you can attack a little bit earlier with your Radiant Zard. Easy to find that card because of Raihan. So very cool. Sable Zard doing well. We did see that this is a deck that people sometimes are disrespecting. But it has an answer against an early game Iron Hands, also with the high amount of the vacuums. Van Skelly, alright, let's see what they're rocking with. Here we have them. It is also DTE Mew. Very similar to the list we've seen before. 2 copies of Box of Disaster, but that's about it. They're actually, it's something similar that we've seen before. But definitely with the 2 Fusion Energies, seem to be more prevalent into the DTE versions. Mario Martinez, another DTE Mew. And all these lists are sometimes a little bit like different. This list is also playing the 2 Fusion Energies, so everyone was prepared. They're playing Hisuian Heavy Ball, that's kind of crazy. Everyone was prepared for Spiritomb, so Mew converted really well. Nicholas Gist with Fusion Mew, so much Mew around. What's going on here? Yeah, this is Fusion Mew, Alessa Sparkle, Ice Cube, Meloetta. So most of these lists are refined, not crazy stuff that happened there. Then Yosha Riley with Urshi Intel. Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite decks as well in this format because you have so many things you can do. It has the Luminion in here. So that's going to be able to tutor one of your supporters out, whether you're looking for a Clara at the correct time or a Melanie to get a G-Max Rapid Flow off. This list is also very refined, not a lot that you can do with the list. It has been a known 60. The list is playing Escape Rope and Turo Scenario, so having some more switch outs than before. Sometimes Radiant Alakazam could get trapped in that active position, and they do come back with the TM Devolution, which you can tutor thanks to stuff like Arven. Yeah, and definitely because you have Luminion Arven TM Devolution is definitely a thing. TM Devolution helps a ton against Zard, so cool. Urshifu is around. Then Terrence Miller with another DTE Mew. What's going on with all these DTE Mews? One Fusion Energy in this kind of build. They're playing Penny though, so I probably would prefer the Professor Turo Scenario in a Mew VMAX deck, because sometimes you can also put the Mew VMAX into your hand over the Penny. But yeah, they did really well, and TM Devolution also part of this Mew list as an answer against Zard. Okay. Any other interesting builds that we can take a look at that we haven't seen before? I think Hail Arbernaut with Snorlax Control, and this actually is Control, but because look at all these Control cards in here. There's a Chi-Yu EX randomly in here to power up Radianzard. There's also Magma Basins in here. There's Luxray. So much Control cards. Mimikyu. So this should be a very hard deck to master, but with Defiance Vent, Stormy Mountain, getting your Rotom or your Luxray, having the Fang Snipe, this seems like such a difficult deck to pilot, but congratulations on that top 32 placement. We have a Roaring Moon, a Raymond Liu. Let's see what the Roaring Moon is rocking with. Okay, let's see. We have Galarian Moltres, fan of that. There is 2 copies of Boss's Orders, an Iono, and 2 Ancient Boosters here. So this is the Town Store version of the build without relying on cross switchers and Pokestop. So I don't know which version I prefer, but with so many dark patches, and like if you go turn 1 Sada, and then the following turns you probably go for attach dark patch or E-switch from the Galarian Dire Flame Wings. So yeah, I'm gonna have to test this list. As Ancient Booster does seem nice for Roaring Moon to give it 290 HP, definitely in a format with lots of Lostina. Manuel Soto with Arc Superior? Yo, that's wild. So yeah, Arc Tina in disguise. It's not with Tina, but it's Arc Superior. Path Judge is the way to go, and you can draw cards with Big Barrel, and you have answers with Slacking as a little bit of a higher damage output. V-Guard Energy protects yourself from a lost impact from a Tina. So unique lists are popping up, and that's what we're checking out here. Oh yeah, Jared Grimes did it again with the Chien-Pao top 32. And they reverted back to playing it without Iron Hands. This is the classic build, 2 Cologne, and they have 4 cross switchers, the 4 Pokestop build. This is like the classic Grand Chan list for Chien-Pao. So congratulations there. What else is unique here? I want to see Ross Cotton's Roaring Moon as well. There's like 1 Miraidon in top 32. What happened here? What? Or not, there's 2. Like there was 1 in top 8. So like 2 in top 32. That's kind of ridiculous. What happened to Miraidon? Where are the Miraidon believers? Okay, this is yeah, the Peony build of Miraidon. Playing again the Tapu Koko EX, which actually was a great play for this weekend with Charizard being the most popular deck, so I can understand that. This deck is actually pretty weak against Path to the Peak, but you do have Peony, which can vacuum, and then Mew EX is going to be your draw engine going forward. Peony can also fetch 2 Electric Generators, so a turn 1 Iron Hands is never too far away. Crazy, okay. What else? I wanted to see Ross Cotton's. Oh, and they actually bubbled out of top 32. That's so sad. Roaring Moon here. Let's see what they are rocking with. Emergency Jelly. Okay. I could get behind like Frenzied Gouging and healing yourself up so you're not weak against weak attacks. 4 Pokestop seems to be the build. 3 Tracking Shoe. 2 Research? Research and Roaring Moon. Now I've seen everything. Yeah. Yeah, now I've seen everything. I think only 2 Sadas and a Palpat. Like, this list is actually revolved around the fact you're discarding your Darkness energies, but there's only 2 Earthen Vessels in here. You just research, and you have 2 Forest Sealstone, I suppose, to fetch whatever you feel like. So you can have like the Dire Flame Wings, E-Switch Dark Patch attachment combo plays. The list is wild. I love the fact you have Disruption, but I don't know why Research is in here. Like, I would cut like all the Research, add a Squawkabilly, add in 2 Salas. But yeah, they did it. It's crazy. Any other particular list we wanted to check out? There is an Ante Aaron Valent and Tyler Matthews list. Okay, Anti-Iron Valiant. Let's see what they're rocking with. This is like the known 60 with the Magma Basin, but they do have some some crazy stuff in here, like the Moltres with the battle styles. Actually, as the Brilliant Stars Moltres, which can then Magma Basin and slap for like 90, if I'm not mistaken. Spiritomb for the Mew VMAX matchup. So interesting list for sure. There is a Goldango. Goldango breaking its curse, getting into that day 2, even getting at top 64. Let's see what it is. It is Goldango Palkia. Okay, with a 2-2 line of Palkia VSTAR nonetheless. So Goldango is making a name for itself, and I couldn't be any happier because this is a deck that reminds me so much of Blacephalon. Unfortunately, this is a stage 1, which does take up a little bit of time. Any other list? We have Eric Brooks with Lost Box Pile. I don't know which kind of version it is. Is it with super effective glasses? It is. Double super effective glasses, Minior, Tropius, all the goodies are around. I've tested this list a lot, and I also put it on the channel as well. This is very similar to something that did well before in a tournament. And another Arceus build with Joe Turrentine? Yeah, very similar to something we've seen before. Arceus Regigigas VSTAR. Okay. And that's about it for the top 64. So we did see a whole different platter of decks. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the run through of the Portland Regionals. It was fantastic watching at home to see all these matches play out. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Helps out in many ways. Only takes one tiny second every time. It does help out the channel ridiculously. Go check out my sponsors as well. There's, of course, PokedownStore.com, the best place to get TCG live code cards. You can use that coupon code ZapDoesTCG for 5% on everything on the website. There is YourPlaymat.com. If you want to create your own custom playmat, you can do so by clicking that link down below. Get 10% off. It's a new year, so new year, new playmat. That's gonna be fantastic for you to shine at your upcoming events. Then there is DragonShield.com for your sleeves, binders, and deck boxes. Everything you might want to protect your beautiful cards. Link down below. Use the coupon ZapDoes5 or just click the link to, of course, benefit from that discount. And then there is CARDMARKET.com for European players. You can buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use that referral name ZapDoesTCG to help support the channel. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for some more Pokemon TCG madness. Peace.